purposely invite the rock and roll element into our community?
Well, what's wrong with a little entertainment?
Entertainment is fine, but this... we have lots of big acts that come through here. Ice Capades, Tiny Toons, Kenny G.
Kenny G.
Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones.
Good afternoon, this is Dr. Bones Live, and my guests today are Coleus. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you so much. Greetings.
So, first off, man, you guys, I really dig your music, and I love the description on your Twitter that, the metal circus and a glam band, and...
Oh, yeah. You know it.
And it just really kind of pops out, at least it really kind of describes your band right down to a T. So, first off, the name Coleus. I did some research, and it's a plan. Now, why did you guys pick the name? Was it because of that, or did you guys have other reasoning behind it?
Okay, if you did your homework, you're going to figure out that Coleus is actually a little plant with lots of colors, and it lives in the darkness. So that's inspiration. Right away, boo bam, inspiration.
No, fair enough, because I just read up on it not too long ago, so just seeing if... where the connection was, and obviously I didn't see it right away, but that's okay. So getting into it, the songs you guys have been writing and putting together. Now, is it always a combined effort, or do one of you kind of write the lyrics and then kind of bring to the table, then kind of go over the instrument side of it?
Actually, it's really kind of a combined effort. I'll wander off. I usually do a lot of the lyrics. And then Marty tends to do a lot of the music, and we'll come back and I'll say, well, I've got these lyrics, and sometimes he'll put music to my lyrics, or I'll put lyrics to his music, but a lot of times I'll say, well, here are my lyrics, and he'll say, here's my music, and we'll just kind of put them together and see what happens. A lot of the magic happens when you fit everything together.
Good point. I just always curious as to the dynamic of the band and how they function as far as songwriting creation process, because obviously every band has their own way of doing it. It's always a curiosity to me to see, just because when I get involved with a band meeting, listening to music sort of thing, I kind of like to know all aspects, especially that process, because it can be so different and it can be very interesting sometimes to see kind of how it all comes together.
It's true. A lot of difference there.
There's two process, I want to say, for this project. There is lots of the songs, it's a combined effort, as in there's lyrics on one side, and then there's the music on one side, and then here we go, we've got a new song. And sometimes it's combining melodies and rhythms, whether it's just a riff or singing or humming or something that really that's something kind of groovy, I want to say, for a metal band. Yes, we play metal, groovy metal, yes. But there's two process. There's some of those songs they're already done. It's just a matter of working on those songs. And some other songs are created just in an afternoon. I don't want to say jam. I don't want to say we jam, because we're not really a jam band.
Right.
But there's all these jazz swing influence, in the melody and harmony
And rhythms.
and then it's a matter of dressing up this kind of jazz swinging skeleton. Then we put a little metal skin, right? And then we're gonna put some glam rock clothes, and then you have a
Push it out onto the street and tell it to have a good time.
yeah, come see the show.
Right, and
But yeah, two different processes.
you know, it's interesting, and honestly, I think it's really cool the way you guys work, just because, Demi, you have a unique voice, to say the least.
Oh,
And
thank you.
and you know, just with your range and tone and stuff like that, it must be fun, but maybe sometimes hard to kind of work around it, just because you have like a strong vocal range.
Well, I come from a combined musical theater and voiceover acting background, so that's where a lot of the theatrics come from. But I love voices. I love to make voices. So that comes out in the way we do our music, because I'm like, oh, I can go really high right now. I can make it like a male voice. So it's just a lot of fun to do that. And Marty puts up with it. So.
And I'm a failed actor,
Oh,
and
wow.
I used to perform in theater, and I wanted to be an actor, and then I found out that for me, music was even more powerful for the emotions. So when we created this band, it was supposed to be originally, right? Not today, or maybe someday. It was supposed to be like a metal kind of musical
Okay.
with lots of theatrics and not really acts on the metal riffs, but more on a metal spirit, with all sorts of ideas that are close or far from metal, you know, like circus and jazz and swing and effects and the birds and the thunder and the weirdness.
Wind and, yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah.
Well, stemming off of that, because there's two songs I will be playing today, and we're going to get to one here in just a moment. And it kind of ties in, actually both songs tie in from what you guys were just talking about, so this actually works out very nicely. So the first song we're going to get to is Shadows Walk, and
Yes.
Right in there you were talking about your voiceover and that sort of thing, so I hear that in there, and just, you always seem, and this is a good thing, you always seem like so excited about the music, which is amazing, because it always makes me appreciate it that much more, and especially a couple of things you say in the song really stands out, and it makes me laugh at the same time, but not in a bad way.
No, good. It's like part of the reason we put glam in the title is because I love to make what I do over the top ridiculous, and you can probably hear in there that I love horror. But the kind of horror I like is what I call horror comedy, where
Scary. When it's scary.
yeah, exactly. Where, like, there's lots of blood and lots of guts and it's flying everywhere, but you know that after everything's said and done, the actors bounce up and they're laughing and they're like, oh, I'm covered in all this goop and it's so much fun. So, like, Freddy Krueger and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to take that feeling of, like, horror comedy and ridiculous over the topness and just stick it in our songs.
Oh, it definitely shows up for sure.
Oh, good.
So the first song I'm going to get to here is Shadows Walk. Dig this. This is Coleus.
me home, no shapes they change. It's patterns of the starlight, and no one lasts more strange. But I saw him peel himself up off the street. He stood up, broke free, disappearing away from me. The sunlight should have held him trapped and tight within the floor. Now he's out walking. Will he return for me once more? Past 3 a.m. past the home, and still I'm hearing cries. Was that a football that stayed trying so hard to stay? I watched the door inside him, and the whole house was still, and yet a stream of darkness through the keyhole was filled. But I saw him peel himself up off the street. He stood up and broke loose, disappearing away from me. The sunlight should have held him trapped and tight within the floor. Now he's out walking. Will he return for me once more? I pinch myself up to him as he tells into tears. From some liquid darkness to a ship with no face. I get no single word out before he's on to me. His knife voice stabs right through me, whispers. But I saw him peel himself up off the street. He stood up, broke loose, disappearing away from me. The sunlight should have held him trapped and tight within the floor. Now he's out walking. Will he return for me once more? So glad you're out being nothing, just watching all the color drain out of my world and into him, and I'm like, what the fuck? You're broken, says not poised. You're free now. You have choice. This fucking ate me. That was the choice. I realized my shadows were the color floods back into my shape on my say-so. You can wear me. I'm free.
Right on, that was Coleus with Shadows Walk off their album Psychonaut. Now, this song in particular, like we were talking about your voices and that sort of thing, and really came out in this one, but it really gave depth to the song and made it that much cooler. And I love your little, call it maybe a rant at the end, where you make it sound like and can pretty much convince people that shadows are the greatest invention ever.
Oh yeah, hey, like, if when I was growing up, I'd kind of look askance at my shadow, like, hey, is it gonna, stand up and come talk to me?
Right.
So that was kind of like the impetus for the song, because like when it gets to be about 3 a.m., you're alone in your house, you're like, oh my god.